रहता कितना बढ़िया रहता सर। 4 लाख पहले से मैडम तो बता दो उसको कोशिश
In keeping with the ethos of sustainability, our esteemed guest will now be ceremonially welcomed with plant sapling, symbolizing growth, harmony, and our collective commitment to environmental stewardship. I would request Honorable Vice Chairman, Ashoka Institute, Dr. Amit Maurya, to present the sapling to our keynote speaker, Professor Mohanlal Agrawal from Indo-Girl Management Association, Dubai. Thank you, sir. May I request the respected Director of the Ashoka Institute, Dr. 𝗕𝗶𝗵, to give plantlets to our guest of honor, Dr. 𝗕𝗶𝗵 from Nepal. Thank you, sir. Thank you, ma'am. We have another guest of honor from 𝗕𝗏 University, Dr. Surendra Mehto. I invite the respected Director, Dr. Brijesh Singh, to welcome our guest with plant. Thank you, sir. I request Professor Ashwin Moria, Program Coordinator SBT 2026, to welcome our guest Dr. P.K. Verma from 𝗖𝗫𝗠𝗏𝗃 with plant. Thank you, sir. I now request our esteemed keynote speaker and chief guest, Professor Mohanlal Agrawal sir, to formally open the International Conference SBT Insight Open.
Good morning, everyone, and absolutely pleasure, delight, honor, privilege to be here and to open this fantastic conference of international variety, of international grade, of international quality on something which is a globally acceptable, accepted and respected topic, and which is sustainability and digital transformation. And what a wonderful idea of having a conference on these two topics which are ruling our life and which are going to rule our future as we see emerging. And what a wonderful way to talk about it in a place like Varanasi. And I wasn't very much, pardon me for saying that, I wasn't very much aware of Ashoka Institute before I came. But in the last 4 or 5 days, I've heard fantastic reviews about them by the people who have been associated with it, not in Varanasi but in every other place, which shows that we say in our marketing that brands are never built on advertising. Brands are built always by word of mouth. Brands are always built by the people who have experienced it. Brands are always built by the people who know of it on their own. And I think Ashoka Institute of Management and Technology, or Ashoka Institute of Technology and Management, whichever way we take, has shown the way to us that we can talk about important topics in a very, very neutral, objective, and research-based manner. And that is exactly what is happening today as well as tomorrow. So I'm extremely honored to open this particular conference for all of us to learn, to share, to experience, and to spread. Congratulations to all of you.
Thank you, sir. Now, with this declaration, the conference officially commences. We now proceed with the release of conference souvenir, which represents the scholarly contributions and research insights shared by our authors and academicians. For this, I would request all dignitaries to perform the ceremony of releasing the souvenir.
अच्छा अच्छा
Thank you, sir. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for releasing this over here. Now, may I invite Professor 𝗖𝗶𝗃𝗵, Director, Ashoka Institute of Technology and Management, and Program Director of this conference, to have the welcome address for the session.
Very good morning, everyone. Dignitaries on the dais and dignitaries of the dais. The chief guest of the program, Professor 𝗓𝗏 sir, President, Indo-Gulf Management Association, UAE. Esteemed guest of honor, Dr. Vinay Shethji, Campus Chief, 𝗕𝗵𝗁𝗵𝗂𝗃𝗂𝗏, Nepal. Dr. 𝗓𝗵𝗵𝗍𝒻, 𝗘𝗹𝗲𝗵𝗵𝗍𝒃 University, Nepal. Distinguished guest, Dr. 𝗕𝗵𝗵𝗿𝗏 from 𝗖𝗫𝐵𝗃𝗄𝐫𝗏. Dean Academics, Professor S.K. Sharma. Dean CSE, Professor Alice Maurya. Dean Student Welfare, Engineer S.S. Kushwaha. Registrar, Engineer 𝗓𝗏, all the head of the departments, conveners, organizing secretaries, member of organizing committee, fellow academicians, researchers, delegates, media representatives, and my very dear students. It's indeed a moment of great honor and privilege to welcome you all in Ashoka. Ashoka Institute is an integrated campus of engineering, technology, management, pharmacy, and commerce. It is Ashoka Institute of Technology and Management at Ashoka School of Business. I take the privilege to invite our distinguished guest of chief guest, Professor Mohanlal sir, who took all of us to be here all the way from Dubai to Varanasi. Thank you, sir, for being here, for gracing this occasion. Warm and gracious welcome to guest of honor for being our neighboring country, our friend country, Nepal. Thank you, sir. Sir is from one of the largest universities in Nepal, 𝗕𝗵𝗵𝗏 University, as well as its affiliated university. Both the people are here, and we are truly honored to be by their presence. 𝗖𝗫𝐵𝗃𝗄𝐽𝗍 is one of the institute we are always look for their support in the academics as well as in research. So from there, Dr. 𝗕𝗵𝗵𝗏 sir is he agreed to be here. Thank you, sir, for being here. As far as this conference is concerned, I must appreciate the sincere efforts of our organizing team members and our people, because managing this kind of a large conference where around 120 papers are going to be presented in 11 tracks, it's not a small task. So I know day and night work of your people is going to be there, and it is just a beginning. 2 days are ahead. So, and we have keynote sessions, we have panel discussions, as well as various tracks specific to their teams. The topic of the conference, Sustainability through Digital Transformation, Insights from Management, Humanities and Sciences. The whole of the world is revolving around digital transformation, and sustainability is the need of the hour, is the need of the future. So, all the people, whether they are from engineering, sciences, management, or humanities, holistic approach to address those issues are very much required. Through the papers, people who are going to authors, the presenters who are going to present their research and innovations, they are the core of this conference. Your research, your deliberations, interactions with different people from different parts of the country. These discussions, interactions will form the future policies and give a way for future research. Ashoka Institute has been established in 2010, and ever since its inception, we are focusing on the area of research. This is our 5th conference, and I must acknowledge the support from our management, Chairman, Engineer Ankit Maurya, and Honorable Vice Chairman, Dr. Amit Maurya, for their constant support and encouragement to organize such big conferences. And the students, it's a big platform for you. Because you have to come out of your classrooms to understand what's going around the world, what's going on in the field of research, what are the various opportunities for innovations as well as entrepreneurship. So, such things, such kind of mega events don't happen every day, so it's better you enjoy and learn. Ask many questions, as many questions as you can in various sessions. So you learn from them, and definitely take your journey to different areas, whether it is in industry or in higher education or towards your entrepreneurial journey. So from the bottom of my heart, I welcome all the participants who are present over here. They took the pain to come from near or far or connected virtually. Thank you so very much for gracing this occasion. And 2 days are going to be highly will be full of enlightenment. I'm very sure about the resounding success of the conference. But as people are putting a lot of effort, a lot of their precious time, and once again, my best wishes are with you. Thank you so much. Have a great conference. All the very best. Thank you. Jai Hind.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you very much.
Conferences are not big deal.
and dignitaries Director Ma'am, respected Director of Pharmacy, S.K. Sharma Sir, and S. More Sir, our distinguished speakers from Nepal, I welcome you all over here. Esteemed academicians, researchers, dear delegates, participants and students, ladies and gentlemen, a very good morning to everyone present here and joining us virtually. I am Dr. 𝗕𝗵𝗵𝗃𝗀, Professor at Ashoka Institute of Technology and Management, Varanasi, and it is my great honor and privilege as the convener of SDT Insights 2026 to welcome you all to the International Conference on Sustainability through Digital Transformation, Insights from Management, Humanities and Sciences. Insights today, Impact tomorrow, being held on 30 and 31st January 2026 in hybrid mode. This conference is jointly organized by the Department of Business Administration and the Department of Humanities and Applied Sciences, and in collaboration with our esteemed international partners, the Indo-Gulf Management Association Dubai and the Kampala International University, East Africa. The theme of this conference is both timely and deeply relevant. As we navigate the era of digital transformation, our focus must extend beyond innovation and efficiency to include sustainability, ethics, and human values. Technologies such as artificial intelligence, big data analytics, blockchain, and smart systems have the power to reshape societies, but their impact must be aligned with environmental responsibility and social inclusiveness. SDT Insights 2026 aims to serve as a multidisciplinary platform, bringing together insights from management, humanities, and sciences to foster meaningful dialogue and collaborative solutions for sustainable development. Through this forum, we hope to contribute constructively to policy formulation, responsible management practices, and the broader sustainable development goals. Hosting this international conference in Varanasi, one of the world's oldest cities and a timeless center of knowledge, adds special significance to our discussions. The city's legacy reminds us that sustainability is not a new idea, but a continuing responsibility passed on through generations. I take this opportunity to express my sincere gratitude to our chief patrons, co-patrons, program director, program coordinators, organizing secretaries, advisory board members, and our distinguished keynote speakers whose guidance and presence have greatly strengthened this conference. I would also like to acknowledge the dedicated efforts of the organizing committee, editorial and review committees, faculty members, volunteers, and student coordinators whose commitment and teamwork have made this conference possible. Over the next 2 days, we look forward to insightful keynote sessions, thought-provoking paper presentations, and on day 1, 72 papers will be presented, out of which 50 are from management and 22 from humanities and applied sciences. On day 2, in online mode, total 5 tracks are designed, consisting of 53 papers, which will be presented, out of which 42 are from the management field and 11 from the humanities and applied sciences, engaging panel discussions and meaningful academic exchanges. I am confident that the ideas shared here will inspire innovation, collaboration, and actionable outcomes towards a sustainable and digitally empowered future. Once again, I extend a very warm welcome to all our delegates from India and abroad, and I wish you a stimulating, enriching, and memorable conference experience. Thank you very much. Jai Hind.
Thank you, ma'am. Today, we are fortunate enough to have one of the eminent personalities from academics and research Professor Dr. Mohanlal Agarwal, the President of Indo-Girl Management Association, Dubai, the Chief Editor, Indo-Girl TV show, Business in the Next 25 Years, and founder, the lead GCC chapter, Humanistic Management Network, Switzerland. He is US Fulbright Fellow, European Foundation for Management Development, Fellow at Paris, and British Council Fellow, London. Dr. Mohan Agarwal is former Chief Chair Professor at IIM Lucknow, 𝗕𝗏𝗏𝗏 𝗕𝗏𝗃𝗃, former Professor at California State University, EFMD Fellow at ESSEC Business School, Paris, and British Council Fellow, London. He is ranked among 251 most fabulous global education leaders and has received the UAE Golden Visa for Research Excellence. Sir has a rich experience of research, publication, and has been associated with the Indo-Girl Ties in academic research and collaboration. He has so many publications in national and international journals of high repute. He also serves as an ambassador to the nation building with knowledge sharing and enhancing the quality of research. There are so many things about him to quote, but I have to limit myself because program has the limitation. So without any delay, I would request Professor Mohanlal Agarwal sir to have the keynote address for the August session. Sir, please.
Good morning, everyone, including the organizers of this fantastic conference, the Vice Chairman who has to go somewhere else, so he was competing with one priority to another. But I know, as he told me, and I know from his face also, his heart was here, but his requirement was also there, being the part of the organization of that fantastic thing called Varanasi, that cultural literature festival. Madam Agarwal, organizer, and other organizers of this conference, I think you have done a tremendous job by bringing researchers, academics, students, all under one roof. You have said so many things about me that I have, like almost forgotten that what I wanted to say, because this is the best way to burden a person with so much expectations that he doesn't know what to say, what to not. But I'll try my best. There are 2 or 3 things which come to my mind, and I would like to say that first before I go into this theme or theme-based presentation. The first thing is that when I went first for this European Foundation for Management Development, or EFMD, fellowship to Paris, where it was for 2-3 years, 3 years actually, and then a repeated number of years after that also. So a colleague of mine with whom we were publishing, he was not giving too much attention to teaching. I mean, he was keeping it okay, but he was not as much as perhaps we all are in the classroom. And so his name was Pierre. I said, Pierre, Parliament was saying you're a great man, you're good friends. So can I ask you a question? Why you are so much keen on publishing rather than on teaching. So he said, Mohan, there is very, very simple thing here. Teaching impresses either 50 people or 30 people or 100 people who are in the class, and that too for that particular moment. Research makes you more famous everywhere and for every time to come. What he did was that he said that the pizza making is more perhaps glorious than pizza delivery. And we all, as a result, he said that we are all pizza delivery boys. At the most, we can add some other techniques of pizza delivery boy by adding some surveys, some smile, some good morning, good afternoon, all those things we can do. But pizza is just a pizza. And people are using pizza, no doubt. But other things are also equally important, no doubt. But pizza is the most important. It is his own way. And one day he said, Mohan, I want to come with you to Varanasi. So I brought him to Varanasi also. When he came here, obviously he became extremely emotional, extremely overwhelmed. And I saw him almost, tears on his cheeks when we went to this different ghats of Varanasi. That was about 30 years ago. So that day I learned that the research is crucially important for your development than perhaps this. Even though I was a research fellow, but like I mentioned, such things you realize even though you are doing, but different. So therefore I believe that now India is going into a phase which is not just pizza delivery boys, but pizza making. And not only pizza making, but very high quality of pizza making, because we are also going for ranked, rated, very well known accredited journals throughout the world, and our Google rating, Google academic rating, all that is on very, very good footing. So I wanted to congratulate Ashoka Institute of Technology Management for taking this part very much. The second thing which I wanted to say is that you have included students to be here in this conference. Many people may see it differently. One, they may see it that perhaps we are filling the space, perhaps we are filling the crowd, perhaps it's a crowd management technique. That is all they have, no doubt about it. But perhaps there is also something more than that. And that thing is that these students will also be motivated, inspired to create something of their own while they are students. And that is why these days you must have heard that student-centric research or student-led research rather than faculty-led research. And I think this is a great idea of having so many wonderful students of the Institute to sit there. And I hope that they also listen to the wonderful presentations that we are going to see, today and tomorrow. So I want to compliment the organizers for this kind of inclusion and for this kind of inclusive research idea rather than this exclusive only way. Because this particular thing I saw once when I got to Boston, and I was presenting paper before one of the, perhaps the organization in our marketing, and then we used to call it AMA, American Marketing Association. And there were almost 3,000 delegates. And in each paper's presenters, not more than 6 or 7 were there. I said, this little crowd for this, so much money I have paid, the delegateship, and I am getting only 6 and 7 students, people to listen to me. And they too were in very, very, relaxed dress, relaxed this. So then they also told me that the research at that particular conferences is not for the purpose of presenting, but for the purpose of inviting collaborations and collaborators, networking, as well as many other things we do in our faculty job. So what I'm trying to say is that this particular conference is also a networking platform where you can also network with people coming from, Nepal, with me, or with various other organizations, and try to find partners. So singular research days are going to be soon over. It has to be a collaborative research, and it has to be done with collaborators of like mind and things like that. I think this conference will also serve the purpose of that. The third thing I heard or rather read about years ago, and which made me happy as well as unhappy. Happy that I am in the twilight of my career, so therefore it doesn't affect me much, because after all I have been in teaching for the last 48 years, and therefore it doesn't matter, when I started I was 22 years old, and recently I went to that 𝗓𝗵𝗵 University where they made me Professor of Eminence. After 46 years I went back to them. But what I heard and read on the both television and radio, it was very disturbing news. And that disturbing news came from one of the founders and promoters of Google. His name is Alan, Russian fellow. So he said something. He said that now in future, degrees will not be at all we will be seeking. I mean, you have degree, very nice, but we will not be looking at it. We will be looking at certain other things. And what are those other things? The other things he said will be how much you have learned from your own life, failures, success, experimentations, initiatives, everything that you have done. And that is what we are going to look at, and that's where we will be checking you in terms of hiring or not hiring. And that is already happening, saying, when he says that, then it becomes a little bit a major thing. After Google is our torchbearer in technology and does whatever he does, which makes worldwide news. And he said that we are going to look at three things in the students. And I hope the students here take this also as one of the insights. The first thing he said is that we are going to look at your ability to study independently. Ability to study independently means that there are so many other methods now available, whether it is YouTube or Wikipedia or Google or many other, places. Then how you study independently and continuously. So this is the first thing he said we will be looking among the graduates. The second thing which he said was also very interesting, although nothing earth-shaking, but he did say that. And that particular thing he said is ability to solve problems. So this will be the second thing we look at, that can you really solve this problem, or can you identify the problem, and can you identify various solutions of that. He did not mean necessarily the word that we use in India and which became a currency of the global lexicon, which is 𝗔𝗏. He did not mean that, but he did mean that we must have, or the students must have, or the people must have the ability to solve the problems. And the third thing is totally American what he said, and that particular thing he said was ability to figure it out. Ability to figure it out means I'm not going to tell you. You have to find out on your own. What is the solution? What is the problem? What is that? Almost like many of us know those experiments which were done in learning, classical conditioning learning, reinforcement learning. That how monkey learned how to pick up the right thing, how rat learned how to press the lever, or how other animal psychologists they learned that how to do the right thing, figure it out. So he says that we also will have to figure it out. Nobody is going to tell us how to do, what to do, what not to do. In other words, again, insights. Again, your ability to think creatively. While I do not agree with him in terms of degrees being irrelevant, but I totally agree with him as far as the qualities that are required among the learners today. So I want to use this particular platform to share with you that please focus on these three things first. Ability to learn independently, ability to learn continuously, ability to share your experiences so that you can solve the problems, and of course, ability to figure it out. You cannot ask this question, what is this? You have to figure it out, what is this, and share it with others. Now, given all those particular situations, if we come back to our theme of the conference, and which is having some very big, wonderful keywords. Number one word which is very important is, to me, everywhere it is sustainability. The word sustainability will always meant for us, and which is still the case. Sustainability simply means ability to carry on, ability to continue. Now, this particular sustainability later on was given a context as well as content, and both context and content were very, very appropriate. And that particular context was that in terms of the resources that we have, and content was that you are not on your own, you are not responsible only to yourself, but you are also responsible for the future generations. So therefore, now the sustainability means enjoying the present without necessarily threatening the future, without necessarily jeopardizing the future. So a very simple word would be that just because we are very, very lucky that we have put the running tap water, that does not mean that when we are washing our hands or we are doing some shaving simple thing that we waste no water because we are lucky. Or because we are in a 5-star hotel or 4-star hotel and they are not charging us about the electricity we use, that we waste it, that we don't switch it off, that we don't, all those kind of things. In other words, that in many ways we are becoming a lot more responsible for the future generations than for us. Now that is the definition, which is also the essence for us also in this conference. That is, enjoying the present, but also being responsible for the future, being accountable for the future. The second keyword, of course, is the digital transformation. Of course, I will mention that later on also. But at this particular moment, if I have to define, I would say digitalization would be simply storing in a form which does not require any kind of paper, any kind of this and that, and it is accessible, it is affordable, it is available whenever I need. A very simple example, if I can give yesterday, as I said, that I was at the university in Arabia, and the registrar was sitting in that room, and he was barely visible in the sea of files. Files here, there, everywhere. And the dean was sitting there, he said, Dr. Moore, he has, I said, wow, sir, so many files you have, this and that. And then in a jovial way, he said, although he's his friend, that's why he said that. Then, but if I ask a paper, it will take about 6 or 7 hours for him he will find that paper. Now, to me, this is waste of resources. To me, this is suboptimal. And all these particular things are done very, very well because of digitization or digitalization. So therefore, digital transformation for me provides operational efficiency, provides effective, it provides many other things. If I take a little bit bigger and better thing is, then even our land records, our land revenue records, our own degrees which are being given on paper, if it is done through the digital means, then not only they are more authentic, but they can also be easily shared from here and there between what technology that we have. So for me, this digital transformation is extremely essential for sustainability because we cannot do without it. But the question that we have is that how the organizations are using it and how we, users of these organizations, are doing it. That is why I said, I just made a topic like this, that stop being a single leg race horse. And I'll explain this part. It was a single leg race horse and how the single leg race horse can also become quadruple race horse. And I'll come back to that. So if I look into this thing, this was the thing I was mentioning. Okay, now the point which I mentioned, that enjoying the present without compromising the future, like water usage, energy usage, so many resources we have here. Even, I mean, if I go back to the most misunderstood part of 𝗕𝗵𝗵𝗿𝗃𝗁 when he told us the trust issue, where he said that money should be used not for yourself just because you have, but it is for the purpose of others. That was also from that point of view, being responsible to the society. I mean, not like that Ambani's wedding getting into months and months, while on the other hand, if you see like Murthy and others, they did just simple lunch, and that was the end of the wedding. So, because you have money, well, that particular thing doesn't mean that you have to flaunt from that point. But still, it is one way of looking at that also, without compromising the future. This is the thing that we use. All of you who are in the market, share market, all of you who are evaluating the companies, as I do, both on the being both 𝗓𝗏 as well as interested in wealth creation. I also looked at the stock market in terms of which is good, which is not good, which one I should purchase, which one I should sell, which one I should keep, that kind of thing. Right? So I'm not an investor from that point of view. I'm definitely interested in the stock market, in opportunistic buying or opportunistic selling, rather than buying a thing and then coming after to that after 20 years or 15 years or 30 years. I'm sure that that's also one more way of making money, but perhaps I'm not in that category. So what are the things we look at? We look at this kind of thing, bottom line. American word, bottom line. Now this bottom line is used by us in terms of financial matter, the company which is making money. And most of us perhaps would be knowing that these are the ratios that we use most of the time. Of course, they are very sophisticated and many more. But quickly, if you have to look at any company's performance, then we look into this P/E ratio, profitability, and all those things that we do. And usually we look at that how much company has made. You look at any newspaper, any magazine, anything, how much respectable it is. The moment when you say this results, annual results, we always look into these financial matters, the profitability, the revenue, the expenses. Now, if you look into this thing, then there are many ratios which we use, and one of them is the P/E ratio, price earning ratio. Very simple, perhaps manipulated also many times, perhaps underreported, over-reported also. Those kind of things can also happen. Perhaps the data could be also manipulated. But still, it is one of the most reliable measures that we have for understanding sustainability, whether this organization is sustainable or not. Financial. And that particular thing we look at the P/E ratio. If we are a little bit more smart, we add one more thing, and that is how much this P/E is growing over a period of time. So we call it PEG. From price earning and growth in that. Then again I say there are many more ratios, and I don't want to say that it is a finance class or evaluation class or equity evaluation class. The only point which I am trying to make is the one that we say and the other that we do. We say that we are looking at the sustainability of the organization, but what we are doing is only one part of that sustainability. Financial. That's why I call it single-leg response. So here we go, that looking at all these things, what happens here? Obviously is not counting. Now whatever be motivation or not, as a gentleman called John Elkington, he brought a new way of looking at the company, and which he called triple bottom. We are aware of it, many of us have seen it in our class also, I'm sure some of your professors also have taught. Now the irony is that we teach, the irony is that we use, the irony is that we know, but we don't use it at all. That's my problem, that's my complaint, and that's my regret. So if we look into this as triple bottom line, he talked about, he wrote a book, very interesting book it was, that that almost like cannibals with forks. Cannibals, as you know, cannibals are people who eat each other. Human beings are eating other human beings, but sophistication where the fork comes. So what he's saying is that exactly what organizations are doing. Now in this particular thing, they use these three things: economic, social, and environmental performance. Shame on this particular thing, pure shame. That none of it is used by us in terms of evaluating the sustainability of performance of the organization. Whether you take Financial Express, whether you take Economic Times, whether you take Financial, anything that you take, very few people talk about these things, and they talk about it more in the seminars, in the conferences, in the footnotes. Nobody calculates these things, and nobody publishes these things. We footnotes do that, but again, as I said, for self-glorification rather than for the purpose of performance evaluation. So what we are saying is that our goal is that we should be talking about 3 P's, that is people, profit, planet. In people, what we are saying, the organization must be very much concerned about the well-being of the employees in terms of fair wages, in terms of giving them more and more facilities. They're concerned for their welfare, they're concerned in all these things. Fantastic idea. Now look at the reality. The reality is that we feel very good about a company in investing if it has reduced the expenses. And most expenses in service organizations relate to salary and other benefits of any organization. Look at Ashoka Institute of Technology Management. Other than the infrastructure that you have, the biggest expense is faculty. The biggest expense is staff. And if you look into the companies like auditing, accounting, consulting firms, then 80 to 85% of the expenses are people. That's the thing. And here we are investing, if the company has reduced the labor cost, has reduced this, which means we are talking something, but we are doing something totally opposite. How can you take care of people if the people are not being paid fairly, ethically, appropriately, if they are not being taken care of? This more and more people are being either laid off or restructured, as they call themselves. All that thing happens there. So here we go. This is the first thing that he said: a company should be known and measured. Where is the data? Where is the indication? Where is the ratio? And why did not highlight it? Why they are not celebrating the companies which are increasing the salaries? Why they are not celebrating the companies which are giving more welfare expenditures than others? Opposition, opposite, and reversal. Skill development. I come from a place, Dubai, where zero investment is made by the companies in terms of skill development. Zero investment. In fact, more investment is made by India and other countries in terms of faculty development or employee development than they do. And I ask them many times, so why don't you spend this money? Oh, we are paying them salary because they are skilled. A person is skilled today but can also get out of the skill gap tomorrow because the technology is changing so much. And just because you have taken an IIM graduate 5 years ago doesn't mean that he is working at the highest level of potential and performance. An IIT also produces, pardon me for saying, his own quota of its own quota of assets. And these assets have to be converted into the houses. So how do you spend money? Only when you spend money on training and development. Not a single payment. Not a single person is sent by them to higher institutions for the purpose of training and development. Which means there is something else going on. That you are saying that people are my assets, you are saying people are my family, but you are not matching those words with reality. And as an investor, I am also overlooking it. Because I am not looking into this, and we all know that an organization cannot survive without the sustainability of people. You know, a new theory has come up today in all organizations, and that theory is replacement cost. A professor, if he or she thinks that I need to have more salary because of my experience and because of my number of years, college will let them go. Why? Because those people can be very easily replaced by people who will cost lower than that. So you better be careful, because these lower, field, they can do much better than you. So the question is, what are you going to do about it? People aspect is talked about a lot, but not at all used in this system. So this was argument number one of bottom line. Argument number two of this thing was profit, no doubt. Profit is the essence of any organization's sustainability. We have seen this in the case of public sector in India. We have seen it in the case of the joint sector in India, where profitability was always considered as a stepmother or the stepson, while we are giving excellent employment opportunities, we are doing very good community development, we have developed 𝗓𝗏, we have developed the 𝗕𝗏𝗏, we have developed this and that, and our goal is in that. Come on. Profit is very important. It is the essence of it. So this part, I have no hesitation saying that this is the best part of evaluating any company, and that's what I use. The difficulty in this particular thing is also this, that when we hear that there is no company, in fact not no company, I will use the term a little bit more selectively, I will say that there are certain companies in this country which have doubled their profit every 5 years. Every 5 years. How are you able to double your profit every 5 years? There must be some method that you are using. Either you are increasing the price or revenue, or you are decreasing the cost or expenses. And any reduction in cost cannot be celebrated, cannot be enjoyed until we know what is it and why. So this is like another thing that I wanted to share with you. First, no doubt you need profit, but expectation of doubling it, tripling it, 4 times, 5 times, my, there is some problem somewhere. That particular expectation is unrealistic, that particular expectation will lead to non-sustainability. So this is the second part that perhaps we need to be careful about this. Where is the money for innovation? Where is the money for value creation? All that money will no doubt will come for profit, not necessarily. But not necessarily. I will challenge any university, any institute of eminence in this country. Could you please tell me how much is your research budget? Could you please tell me how much is your innovation budget? Could you please tell me that how you are funding your faculty to go from one issue to another, not just conferences, but for product development, prototype development, concept development, live cases. How much money you are giving? How much money you are saying gladly rather than saying, there are 4 people. If one little conference paper, if it is to be funded, it goes through 5 or 6 layers of approval. And each layer of approval becomes, sorry to say this, in most organizations, you like me, I like you. Not necessarily whether it is good or not. Oh, we don't have money or this. Come on, don't say all those things. Very, ugly thing to say. So this is another thing that I wanted to say, that financial ratios are hiding more than they are revealing. This is the same. The third thing which was used here was fact. Without doubt, We all need it because we live in this planet. And that particular planet would be recycling resources, reducing resources, recycling resources, circular economy, so many words that we have today. Circular economy of resources and all that. Coca-Cola continuously says that each and every the can that they are using, almost 75% or 80% of that aluminum is repurposed or recycled. Continuously they say in one seminar or another that whatever water we are doing, we are actually tripling water creation, the water which we are using. That we are creating new water resources, new water reservoirs, new water resources. Without doubt, yes, they do. I don't have any doubt about they are not aligned. So all those kind of things are part of our planet protection, and as a result our sustainability is affecting it. Without doubt. Without doubt, we must also, in our own organization, do many things by which we can create. But for me, it is still triple leg race horse. There are three bottom lines. So from where the fourth one will come? The fourth one will come from your conference where you have talked about digital transformation. And I consider that as the fourth element. There you go. Digital transformation. I believe that the model of job is incomplete. It must be 4 lakh rather than 3 lakh, and that 4th lakh must come from digital transformation. So again, in the beginning I said what is transformation. Let me try again here. The digital transformation will be integration of digital technology into all business areas. All business, everything that can be digitized must be. Everything that cannot be digitized, find out why not. That kind of thing will really, really help us in terms of. The second which you are saying is organizations operate and deliver digital governance happening in India. Whether it is due to Modi or before Modi, this is a political question I don't want to answer. But what I want to answer is this, that because of this digital transparency, corruption has gone down. Much more money has come into the economy which can be calculated, which can be taxed, and as a result much more can be used by the even things like Paytm. They bring a fantastic change in our situation. Look at how much we are doing today in terms of online education or digital education. Today cases are being discussed digitally. You don't have to be physically available for them. When I was director of NTPC and I was teaching some of the things here. Oh, amazingly we did all these cases online. Almost 3 MDPs of XLRI as well as IIM and MDI I did online. And where there were top executives and they were all discussing. So what I'm trying to say, friends, here is, it is our own mental block or mental lock. So physical classes are different, much better than digital classes. True, but also not true. In some ways they are better, in many ways they are not. I mean, look at how much difference it makes that you are getting prepared and doing things at home rather than getting ready, going to the hustle bustle of the city, traffic jams, this and that. So please, all that, very much. This technology, according to me, therefore has a process. That particular process is in terms of business problems, digital opportunities. So there is a process. I don't want to talk too much about it because my time is slightly different. I just wanted to highlight the sustainability of an organization in the way it's being checked by us is totally wrong. Sustainability of the organization that we are seeing through digital formation is also wrong. It should be comprehensive, integrated, and it should be to the basis of the 4 legs that I talked about. KPIs also can be made as a result of it. operational efficiency, cost reduction, customer experience, satisfaction scores. List is endless. I don't have to, list as a laundry list for some organization. The fact of the matter is that satisfaction will improve. Your satisfaction will improve. Employee satisfaction will improve. The research has shown in India that working from home within a controlled measure has improved customer as well as employee satisfaction significantly. I'm not saying that 5 days they have to work 5 days, that's bad. I'm also not saying 5 days on office is also bad. What we are saying is a very, very good measure between offline, online, in the office, hot from work, all these things, they make a difference. So this is the last thing I would like to say, friends, here, that if in this particular conference, if you can see that digital transformation is a strategic initiative. It is not a project. It is not an assignment, but it is the law. Second, data-driven or self-leadership commitment is critical for this success. We have seen it at one point in time, how Rajiv Gandhi changed us in terms of nothing to computerization, how Modi changed us from wherever we are. And who knows, after Modi, many more things may happen. Modi is not the end of it. He is just the natural part of the process. So as a result, this particular thing can happen in India. And the data-driven decision making improves competitiveness. Employee upskilling reduces the resistance to change. Very, very important. When you upskill people, they don't ask stupid questions. And what is the first stupid question? What is in it for me? Come on. Everything doesn't have to be about you. It can also happen for others. And you could be part of the change rather than just being better yourself for money or something like that. And then finally, I believe that continuous innovation is essential in a dynamic environment. So with this thing, I would like to thank the organizers, the Ashoka Institute of Technology and Management, the organizers, the forces behind them, and how beautifully they have thought about the topic. This is, all conference topics have some meaning. Without doubt, they are meaningful, that's why they are, But this particular topic, I thought, was touching the core of us. And that is that if India has to have what it wants to have, then there's nothing bigger than quadruple bottom line. Rather than single bottom line, but quadruple bottom line, and which means that Elkington's bottom line and add it to the transferring of technology, and we have fantastic things to do. Thank you.
Keys are meant to open locks, and actually we have observed the real keynote, because from the key that Professor Agrawal has given us, we can open more locks for the future. Cherishing people, having profit, and considering about planet. This is the wonderful insight that you have brought with us for today's session, and it was really a marvelous speech. It was really a keynote address. So thank you, sir, for the insightful keynote address. Moving on, we are having a 20 minutes tea break, and after the break we will be here for the session. We have two guests of honors, and we will continue the session and take the insight from them also. So we have 20 minutes break. Thank you.